I've lived in North Idaho for almost 30 years, but I've only been down to the Boise area a handful of times. So a few weeks ago, I packed my bags, got all my camera gear, and I drove down there and spent an entire week filming everything I could. So on this video, I'm gonna talk about my initial impression of Boise and the surrounding areas, the things I really liked and the things I didn't like. So stick around. Hi everyone, my name is Trent and I'm a realtor here in Idaho. If this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in learning what it's like to live, eat, sleep, work, play, and buy real estate here in Idaho, then this is the channel for you. Make sure you tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. And honestly guys, I am getting so many calls every single day from people just like you that are watching the channel and are interested in learning more about what it's like living in the Idaho area, and I absolutely love it. So if this is you and you're serious about wanting to get moved here, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text or an email, day, nights, weekends, it does not matter. I love talking to people about what it's like living here because this place is seriously awesome. All right, guys, so let's dive in. What are my initial impressions of Boise and the surrounding areas? And what are the things I really liked and the things I really did not like? Now, I'm gonna say this is a 10,000 foot view of Treasure Valley. I filmed down there for an entire week. So like I said before, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna be coming out with a bunch of videos that go into more details about what it's like being down there. So driving down to Boise, I went through Idaho, even though it's a little bit longer and a little more dangerous to drive that way. I absolutely love this drive because it takes you right along the Snake River, and the Snake River is one of the most beautiful rivers I've ever seen. Multiple times I got out just to stare and take pictures of this beautiful body of water. And I actually a few years ago went down to Riggins, Idaho with my friends, and we did some whitewater rafting. During certain parts of the year, it is seriously some world-class rafting down there. So if you're into that and your body can take it, definitely try it out. Now, as I got into the Treasure Valley area, it took me right through Eagle, Idaho. Now, Eagle, Idaho is a beautiful part of the Ada County Treasure Valley area. But one thing that I noticed right away is it went from mountainous, nothing wilderness to all of a sudden, there's these really beautiful developments with really gorgeous homes. And that was nice to see, but what really caught me off guard was there wasn't really anything around them. There were no big city parks. Like they had little development parks around the homes and stuff, but there was no big city parks. There was not really any shopping. All of the amenities were kind of away from that. And it seemed to me like there wasn't a lot of planning that's going into this. And in fact, throughout all of the Boise area, there didn't seem to really be a master plan. Things were just kind of scattered all about. And I saw that happening in Post Falls as I was growing up. And when you go through there, if you guys have watched those videos, you'll see that there's like car dealerships here and fast food restaurants and then a development and a school and more restaurants. I mean, it's just kind of a hodgepodge of everything. And that has created some problems. We are experiencing some traffic. And so when I see an area like Boise or the Treasure Valley with 850,000 people, it makes me realize like, man, they really got to work on the planning, because if that city continues to grow like it seems like it's going to, that is going to lead to problems like traffic. But other than that, I thought Eagle, Idaho was a really, really gorgeous place. I will probably do more videos on that, showing some of the really nice neighborhoods. You have some of the most high-end homes in the Treasure Valley near Eagle, Idaho. Got there, I needed to come up with a plan and figure out, okay, what do I want to cover and how much do I want to see of the Treasure Valley area? So I decided I was going to try to see everything that I could, all of the towns. Now, I didn't make it into some of the smaller towns like Star or Emmett, but I went to all of the major areas. So the first places that I went were Middleton, Caldwell, and Nampa. So I drove all the way out there, and my initial impressions was I was really surprised. I had expected it to look more like the Boise Meridian Eagle area where it's nicer and upper scale, but it actually reminded me a lot of North Idaho. It was more farm town. The town was definitely like the downtown area. It was older. A lot of the homes were older other than some of the new developments that were going on. But it was definitely a town where, like, if you saw a horse riding along the side of the road, it would fit right in. A lot like Post Falls or Rathdrum or Athol. So I was really caught off guard by that. And it wasn't that it was bad. It actually seemed like a really nice town. It seemed very safe. And I had to stop multiple times to ask people how to get to places or where things were. And I was really surprised with, like, just convenience store workers were super friendly and totally willing to help give me directions. That is not something that I'm used to. I mean, even up in small town North Idaho, you stop at a convenience store and you may or may not get somebody who's willing to help you. You know, depends on the mood they're having. But every single convenience store I stopped at, super friendly, super helpful. So I was really impressed. And I thought that, wow, like, this small town, sometimes in smaller towns, and it's not that they're small, they are bigger, but they definitely have that farm town, small town feel. You know, sometimes people can be really guarded and not want you there, but I did not get that impression at all. So I really liked those areas. Definitely made me feel right at home. And as I drove around and got away from the downtown area, it really started to make sense. I started to see some of those smaller farms. You would have like a farm home on one side of the road, and then on the other side, it was a field or a pasture with cows. So yeah, it definitely, I think I nailed it on that one. It's definitely like a more farm town feel in Middleton, Nampa, and Caldwell, even though it's only about 30 minutes from downtown Boise. So that was pretty cool. It's kind of best of both worlds. Now after that, I decided I wanted to go check out a little town called Kuna. Now, Kuna is about 20-30 minutes away from any other town, and you have to drive through all of this farmland to get there. And it's definitely a small little town, but it's very quaint and it's very pretty. You have Indian Creek that runs through it, which is a runoff of the Boise River. So you do have a little bit of water down there, but it was mostly just a lot of farmland, very small little town. So perfect for somebody who wants to be close to a major city, but still would really like that farm town feel. Now that was the first day. And it took me several hours to drive from each town to each town, filming and drone everything that I could. So the next day, I decided I wanted to check out Mountain Home. Now, what I remember of Mountain Home when I was in my early 20s and in the military was the military base. I spent an awful weekend out there where the instructor was really paranoid about heat stroke for some reason and had us drink way too much water. Ended up being incredibly sick for several days. Not a great experience. So when I drove all the way out there, which took me about 47 minutes going 80 miles an hour, that's the speed limit, kind of reminded me, oh yeah, this is a military town. You have soldiers that are out there that are only based there for a couple of years, so there's not a ton of investment into the homes. So a lot of them looked kind of run down. The downtown scene, you know, it's what you expect in a small military town, but there were actually some really cool art pieces and some kind of hipster looking bars and stuff. I didn't go into them, but I was able to film them. But yeah, not somewhere that I could ever see myself living, but I'm glad I got out there so that I could show you guys some footage. And I'll talk about more of like the median home price and what's out there in a later video. Now, when I decided to drive back, I went to Garden City. Now, Garden City was one of the weirdest towns. And what I mean by that is like the main strip, which used to be kind of a downtown, reminds me a lot of Spokane. It's older, it's run down, it looks a little rough. I'm like, this is Garden City? Like, how is this a good place? But I talked to some locals, and literally like right off of Shinden, which is the main road, is the river. And there's an area called Whitewater Park, and it is so freaking cool. It's like a miniature surf town kind of tucked away in there. The river has this spot where it creates this really big wave, and surfers go and take turns. And it's almost like a wave rider pool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those. We have one up at Silver Mountain. And it's like a total surf town. There's like a surf shop there, and there's like an outdoor brewery, pub thing, and really cool restaurants, really nice condos. And then across the river, you have this gorgeous, massive park. So parts of Garden City are like, what is this place? But then you have areas like this that I was like, this is so cool. I could totally see myself going back there and trying to do some surfing. I don't know if I'd be any good. I'm not the strongest swimmer, and it is a flowing river. So if you fall, you've got to swim back up, and then you stand in line and wait to get back on. But such a cool place. And some of the neighborhoods that are in Garden City are absolutely gorgeous, with the river running right through it, super high end. So it's just a really weird town where you have some spots that look really run down, and then some super high end expensive homes and awesome parks. And I don't know, it's just kind of a hodgepodge, and I think it's really cool for what it is, and it's pretty unique. Now, the next place I went was Meridian, Idaho. Now, this place was really a shock because it reminded me so much of Southern California, but the biggest difference being it was super clean. I didn't see any people that were homeless, and everybody was super friendly. But the developments down there are unbelievable. The village in Meridian is absolutely a playbook taken right out of Scottsdale or Southern California. It was absolutely gorgeous, super pristine, very high-end shopping, restaurants. I mean, the whole area is gorgeous. And right around it, you have some incredible developments right along the river with a golf course. Now, me being a North Idaho boy, I could never see myself living in a place like this, but definitely a fun place to visit. It really goes to show what Southern California could have been if they would have enforced their laws a little bit better and not have some of the problems that they're having right now. And lastly, we have Boise. Now, I saved the best for last. And actually, my friends and I on Friday, we ended up going up and staying in the Sawtooth Mountains. So Friday morning, I had to get up before the sun, and I drove down there and was able to capture a lot of Boise right as the sun was coming up. So a lot of these shots, even though there's a little bit of smoke, just were so much fun to capture. And what really took my breath away was as I was driving down there, all of a sudden I see the Capitol building, and it absolutely took my breath away. It is so gorgeous, and it made me proud to have grown up in Idaho. It's really, really beautiful. And honestly, as far as a city goes, like when I go to a city, it's downtown Spokane. And downtown Spokane, I mean, there's stickers, keep Spokane kind of gross. It's sort of a joke, but it's reality. It's a gross city. They got a lot of work to do. But downtown Boise, oh my gosh, didn't see a single person that was homeless. Everything was super clean. Everybody was really friendly. I did go there during the night before, and we walked around and went to some restaurants and checked out the nightlife. And honestly, there wasn't a single moment where I felt like I needed to look over my shoulder or felt like I was in any kind of danger. Everybody was incredibly nice. It is one of the safest cities. And if I ever wanted to live in a city, Boise would absolutely be the #1 spot that I would choose. I also drove around the downtown area, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. I checked out Camelback Park, which is a really, really cool park. Got some really good drone footage of that. There's a ton of parks in Boise. It really blew me away. Just everywhere there's city parks. In fact, a local made the joke that the wealthy down there, what they usually do is they name a park after one of their late wives or something like that. And a lot of the names are, the names of women. So he might have been right. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. One thing I did notice about being in Boise that I really liked is just a few minutes outside of the downtown area, I was seeing farmland. I saw cornfields, I saw cows. So it really felt like it was the best of both worlds. You had a big city that was very clean and very, very nice city. And then just a little bit away, you still have some of that farmland, which was the roots of Boise. So I noticed that right away, and I thought that was really cool. But one thing that I really didn't like, and just because I live in paradise and don't have to deal with this very much, I did run into some pretty serious traffic. Now, if you are from a major city, this is like nothing. We're talking maybe 15 minutes to get through a light because there was an accident, but it is an issue. The most busy road in Boise is Eagle, and they say just stay away from it because it's so packed. So, I mean, I'm spoiled being up here in North Idaho. We just don't really deal with a lot of traffic, but I did run into it down there. So if traffic is something you are wanting to get away from, you know, there's certain spots like Kuna, probably not a lot of traffic down there, but downtown Boise and the surrounding areas, yeah, you can have a little bit of traffic. It is an area with 850,000 people. It's something you're gonna run into. Another thing that I noticed that was a big difference between North Idaho and Southern Idaho, the Boise area only has a couple of rivers, and they have one lake called Lake Lowell and a few reservoirs. Now up here in North Idaho, you have 76 lakes within an hour. So growing up with my pick of lakes that I wanted to go to, definitely something that would take some getting used to. I don't know if I would like that, just having a few bodies of water that everybody goes to. I mean, I can go to bodies of water and not see anybody. It takes a little bit to get out there, but it's an option, so something to be aware of. And something that I really found to just be very odd is a city that size with such poor city planning. Everything's kind of spread out. It's really a hodgepodge with Meridian, Eagle, and downtown Boise being the exception. Those seem very, very well planned out, very well done. But the other areas, the other surrounding areas, there just doesn't seem to be any kind of master plan. And you know what my friend who lives down there told me is, well, they didn't really think it would ever grow to this size, so they didn't really plan on this. So if anything, if the one criticism I have of Ada County is get a good city planner in there and start making a long-term plan so that it doesn't end up just being this hodgepodge area. Because I think that's kind of what happened to Garden City, where it really wasn't planned out well. You had a main area, and then that kind of died down, and then you had this other area. And so you have some really weird looking spots, you know, not weird, but like run down a little bit. And then you have these really, really nice areas just a couple blocks away. And that's due to poor city planning. You know, that's one thing that I applaud places like Scottsdale and California for. They did a really good job with the city planning. Sure, there's some other problems that make it not that desirable to live there anymore, but the city planning was really, really well done. And so that can help eliminate traffic in the future and other problems. So guys, that's it. I covered a lot in this video. And again, it's a 10,000 foot view. I did not go into very many specifics like median home prices and best neighborhoods. So make sure you tap the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because I am going to be doing more videos on that in the coming weeks. And if you are serious about wanting to get moved here, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text or an email. I love talking to people about getting moved to Idaho. It is one of the best places to live. And until the next one, guys, I will see you later.